one more time on a Mercury day, giving speeches and shit. Actually, no, I'm just going to check the energy and throw out an oracle card. Earlier I did a 10-day forecast and actually just an overall focus on this for the rest of your fucking life type shit, which was some self-control in the sexual department. So in order to keep up with me, you had to catch that video. Who am I? The High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual psychoanalyst and healer. Teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sibyl. I am your messenger of God, the very first child of God, Him, Himself, created in the feminine form, the dark goddess in the flesh, Lilith reincarnated. I posted something just now on my community page. Fucking, yeah, God said go look at Russ. Russ just wants to be heard and understood. That's all it is. He wants people to listen to him and understand. The question is, even if we're listening and we understand, what's the importance behind what you're saying? Is there ever an end to the shit that comes out of your mouth? You just want full attention all the time. Full understanding. Whatever. I challenged him all day yesterday saying he had no fucking creative skills, so he put up a post, a 3-page post on Twitter that he had to bring over to fucking Instagram, and it's probably on his TikTok with a long explanation as to why he thinks he's so creative and how he comes up with his creativity. In essence, he's challenging me, a nobody on the other side of the world that's, that called him out. And because he needs, he has to justify himself, he's going to do it on a public fucking platform for all to see. We call this shadow boxing. Where you're fighting your own demons all by yourself and we're just watching. Nobody asked you shit, bro. Nobody gives a shit about your shit, bro. That's the problem. He wants you to care so much because nobody does. I don't have time for your shadows, bro. But if you're one of those people, you know what I mean? Start giving yourself more attention and you won't be craving it from the outside world. If you're so busy with yourself, and that's what it said in your post, if you got out of your own way and just spent some time with yourself and heard yourself, you wouldn't be trying to make sure that everybody else listened. You have nothing to say. It's just coming from a hurt place. You want everybody's attention. But then we give it to you, and it's like Kanye. The words that are coming out of your mouth mean nothing. You just want the attention. You don't know what you would do with it if you had it. But you just want it. Oh God, what's next, Twin Flames? Who else is coming out? We got Marshall celebrating old triumphs. Lovely. Ali has shared the same song for the last 3 days. Old works. After he had told his people that he had new music coming out and did all this. Second. Alright, we're going to move on. We have some company. So, anyways, we're getting closer to Friday, so then, and plus with the moon energy, everybody in their shadows. And that's what I said earlier. I was like, are you going to take the accusations, just take the judgment and atone for it? Or are you going to sit there and justify yourself and prove yourself right and be all righteous in your stupid doings? Well, there's Lucifer to always show you that, he's right. He's justified in his actions. Whatever, bro. Whatever. In essence, it's like you, instead of putting that huge post, you could have just said, I finished the song. Or is this an excuse to why you couldn't finish a verse on a song? Is that what it is? That I called you out 3 days ago about not being able to write what? Is it 8 bars? 10? 16? You couldn't put together, that would be what? 8 sentences that rhyme together? You couldn't put that together in your own little creative space there, buddy? couldn't find the words. Jesus Christ. And you call yourself a songwriter. Anyways, moving on to the rest of you guys. Don't even try to force a fart. You're going to shit yourself. If you don't have it, don't try to be it, dude. Just realize what you do have and work with what you got. Stop trying to, play Halloween and put on someone's skin and I can be that person and, this is who I am and love me for that. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. I know this fucking card at the top because of the burnt mark. Who is it? Fucking Russ's burnt ass. This would be that devil card we keep pulling on every one of my fucking card decks. Hey guys, in the back, what's the devil represent? The shadow. The sides of you you don't want to admit to. That you don't want to face and recognize. Come on. Seriously? Well, we pulled fucking Loki earlier, and here he appears. How come we can't get out of this? Because it's the energy. It's that fucking Scorpio energy. Or you could say it's Pluto, which is Hades. They're both the lords of the underworld. I like this description because it paints me. The actual serpent was a woman. Why do you think they demonized women in the Bible? No, for the simple reason that you can't walk away from a good pair of tits. That's simple. That's it. That's all. God bless. Amen. Bruce Jenner knows exactly what I'm talking about here. You think he gets off on his own tits when he's bored? What a sicko. Took him 50 years to decide he wanted to have a pair of tits. It's a long time to make that decision. Again, I believe it was the outside influences. He never considered a great pair of tits until they were walking around his house all the time and everybody was buying a pair. It's like, put me on the list too. When can they fit me in? You can't have a great pair of tits with a fucking dick. Might as well just make the right sacrifice. He always played a bitch, just realistically. And I just want to show you that bitch is not limited to a particular gender. It's very fluid. You can see it in both sexes. Alright, so you're in your shadows. What's the spiritual work in hand? Oh shit, that's the same ass card we're pulling. Come on. God pulled out of the foundation card. I was like, well, this must have to do with my career because I don't have a job. And then I got that email. Hey, we want to rehire you from Amazon. I was like, yeah, that's worked out so well last year. Let's do that again. That was fun. What happened? I don't know. I went through the training, got a new pair of shoes, a couple paychecks, and was gone. I don't even know what the job was, to be honest. If you haven't noticed, I do a lot of that around here. I get paid for the training, and I'm out. I don't really want to do the job. I just want to know what it consists of. See if I have it in me. At least I have the shoes. Never wore those things for anything. So yeah, and that was good enough for me. I was like, okay, well, that's what I'm going to do. Maybe, I don't know, we'll train for it. We'll see if I can get past the boot camp. Let's talk about your foundations. If you don't have a good foundation, you're supposed to be building a new one, or your foundation is getting rocked. Spiritual work at hand. What's the outcome of this bullshit? Oh, shit. You're going to end up in loss. Baba Yaga. Well, I would venture to say that he's not building, he's destroying. Hey, I saw that, dude, that 750,000 fucking government workers are about to lose their job. Man, this is a great time to be alive. That's 750,000 people that have to learn a new way of life. Jeez, the numbers are pretty big around here. Just goes to show you, the fall from grace is awful. They were secure, bro. They were secure on six-figure incomes, most of them bastards. They've been living good. That was generational wealth for their kids and their children's children's children's. That shit's about to run off real far. What is that? Is that the devil? Is that the devil? Is there such a thing? The devil? Do not give President Trump that kind of fucking authority, bro. He's got nothing more than a pen and a paper in his hand. Same as me. Watch me sign this decree of fucking divorce. Talk about real power. In the essence, it's the very people that, voted for him that gave him the power to take away their life. They gave him the power to take away other people's lives, not knowing he was going to take away theirs. In essence, the government pays them too much. They're saving a lot of money by switching to Geico. Even to put them on unemployment would save the federal government so much money. These motherfuckers make, seriously, I don't even know, but way above $600,000 a year. These bastards make unbelievable bank. So we take all of that, and there's the deficit right there. There's the dead weight right there. In essence, I might be waiting for my taxes for another couple of years, but that's okay. Sacrifices equal rewards. I really don't know, but everybody's freaking out about it. I was like, didn't this happen last time he was president? I feel like this happened before. I feel like the government didn't, everything went on later. Just a bunch of chaos. In the essence, what's the bad thing about the government shutting down? Are we at war, or do we need them? We need them to make our decisions? No, you need them to sign your paychecks. Oh, so who in this case then is really on government financial aid? We're about to find out. In the essence, it's a sad thing. Sad day for the rich people that have to get a real job. That's where President fucking Obama came in and told you to get an education. You're going to need this later. You're going to need to be able to be trainable. Hey, Amazon's hiring for the holidays. Talk about the depression. Sorry, it's not that I don't care. It's that it was already proclaimed. When you know how this story ends, you don't really get too excited on the details. It's like... Did you really feel sorry for the people in California? The billionaires that lost their houses? I didn't. Sorry. I didn't. All transparency, that would be me, the devil. You don't care? Why should I care what God's doing in their lives? Didn't I tell you that earlier? Stop worrying about what God's doing in other people's lives, realistically. So you're about to face some loss. What happens after you lose? Oh, God, that's my favorite one. You get stuck at a stalemate. You have to make some really difficult decisions. And that's what they're going to have to do, is either sit there whining and moaning and groaning about the past life they'd had, or accept a possibility of a new life. I just got done watching that movie Overboard. Such a great movie with Goldie Hawn. I couldn't figure out how he ended up bringing her in. It's because they left her in a mental institution and nobody would pick her up. So he claimed her, and they just like, take her. She's annoying, take her. And it's a really good movie because she had, she woke up and I was like, oh, I'm rich. I'm out of here. I have a perfect life. Why the fuck am I here with you? And then she went back to her perfect life and realized it wasn't perfect. There's no happiness in money. It just feels good to have it. It doesn't bring you happiness. It just feels good. It's a good feeling, not happiness. Oh, no. I feel for you. I mean, we all have to make those choices. So what is this about me? What does this have to do with me? Facing my shadows, allowing God to build me a new life, accepting the loss of the old life, forced to surrender is really what this is about. It's not really about making choices. The choice has already been made. You just have to surrender to the higher knowing. Really? Yeah, you think you have options, but you don't. You're looking for options. You're trying to create options. You're trying to create a way out. Really? Yup. What's next on the price? Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, that's about it. There's our show, guys. It ends with the towers coming down. This is a really fucked up saying that I say all the time when this comes to it. Think about the brave people. For those of us that watched this happen in 9/11, they had accepted their fate. They knew before we knew that they were going to die in that building. So some of them, some brave few, chose to die in the most exquisite way, which was jumping out those fucking windows. We watched it with such horror because we didn't understand what the fuck was happening. Our brains couldn't comprehend, or at least mine couldn't comprehend what was happening. I believe he was part of it. Actually, my gentleman friend that's here. Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah. When you saw 9/11 happening, or from wherever you were, you were there? You were a first responder? Oh, Lord, this is going to be harder for me to ask you than anyone else. Did you know? I mean, obviously the people in the building knew that they didn't have a chance. How long did it take you to realize that they didn't? Like, the people that jumped out, they knew that they weren't going to make it, so they made that choice. How long did it take you guys to realize it? At what point did America, because I was mentally ill,
So, I was I was a contractor, specialized in first response. Specialized in the that morning I was actually on Mount Edison site, which is New York version of it.
Okay.
And we were doing work in the tunnels that were running. And as I was pulling in to the outside in the first place, at that point,
Jesus, you were there.
people just, I was watching from across the river. So at that point, you really just thought, wait a minute.
In your mind, did you ever think it was going to be okay? I know that other people with higher level of thinking knew this was the end, that there was no way this was going to be okay. The rest of us sat there with shock, like we didn't expect the building to fall.
Well, I don't think people understood what was going to happen when the plane hit and how it would collapse. That probably
so everybody was like us. Okay.
That probably surprised a fair amount of people, to include the firefighters that were in the building.
And logically, looking at it long enough, we would have known we couldn't have took that airplane. At least half of it was going to collapse.
Sure, but in the heat of the moment,
yep, you couldn't.
You have two types of people. You have people that run towards the fire and those that run from it.
Yeah.
First responders all run through it. Now,
so it wasn't who we couldn't save, it's who we could.
Not only that, but couple that with the fire department's radio system was severely outdated and couldn't really handle the fire. The other thing you got to keep in mind is something like that, which nobody anticipated. Everybody got on a cell phone, trying to make
everything was busy.
I mean, communications died in the winter. By the time I got onto the property, we were working, and I had checked in a second plane. And at that point, everybody understood that it wasn't an accident. We called our crew up from the tunnels. At that point, Con Edison went into security protocols, and they had all the gates of the property. You had people, inside and outside the gates, and nobody could get into the gates. And at that point, we were just watching the news. And where we were standing, you could actually see the smoke from the house coming over the river. So I stayed there until about 6 or 7 p.m. because our sister company runs boats out of Staten Island, and I thought I was going to get picked up by a boat and go straight into Manhattan. We didn't get the call for about 4 days later, and then, as it turned out,
they sealed it off for sure. Yeah, nobody could go in.
We ended up working for the Coast Guard, and this Coast Guard contingent just happened to be in New York for training when this happened, and they said, cancel the training, never mind training about incident command, we need you to run incident command. So my role was to set up 2 vehicle decon stations, so every truck coming off of the property had to pass through one of my stations where we basically use high pressure hot water washers to wash down the underside so none of that debris was carried off site. And then we ran about a dozen personal protective, type decon areas.
Jesus.
But where we were situated, we were right around the corner from one of the temporary morgues. And when we got the call, I got a call about 2 a.m. from the Coast Guard asking, they wanted us to come in and talk about what services we could provide.
They needed anybody. People were coming from everywhere. They needed all kinds of hands for anything.
So I asked the Coast Guard, and this is at like 2 o'clock in the morning, what time do you want to meet? And they said, how fast can you get here? So
wow.
I was running the New York office. I called the manager.
You were technically a city worker because you worked with the.
I was a contractor.
Oh, you were a contractor, but you could have, if you worked for them directly, you would have been considered city worker as well.
I don't know how that would have worked.
Because that cell is different than before, but before, like here in Colorado, it used to be what was it, public something, public P&E or something like that.
It all depends on how the individual contracts are put together, but no, I was definitely not considered a city employee.
So just like the rest of us, you didn't understand the intensity that it was over when it started. I feel like people with a higher understanding knew that it was gonna come down from the minute it happened.
Well, I don't think, unless you've been in a war zone, you can truly understand what was going to happen, because yes, most people understand that buildings fell and buildings were damaged, but what people don't understand is roads no longer existed because it was covered with 3 tons of rubble. And I mean, I had worked.
I went
in
afterwards
New
a few
York.
months. I think it was about 6 to 8 months later. I
I've
was
never
up
been
there.
back since working on it.
Yeah, that'll stain it. That'll stain the
So-
taste.
I mean, it was like being in Beirut. It was surreal. I mean, my first shift was 40 hours. And basically, you know, I called the manager from our Riverhead office, and myself went in. We met with the Coast Guard, talked about what they wanted to have done, and then the other guy who lived further east than I did, he picked me up. He basically left me on site. He went back and started dispatching, and I was dispatching from, you know, the field. And
It was just like COVID in the sense of there was no protocol. We were learning as we went. It's crazy.
yes and no. There was certainly some protocol.
All right, sorry about that, guys. But going back to it, I didn't expect that. I wanted to know what he thought when he saw it. I didn't expect him to say he was a first responder to when that happened. But when it happened, you know what I mean? The reality of what ifs comes in, and then there's the truth of it. You know what I mean? Naturally, everybody hopes that they're going to live and everything, but there was some people that had a higher knowing that this motherfucker's coming down. I don't know what we thought in our wildest dreams that we would be able to save people, get the airplane out and rebuild the buildings. I don't know what they might have thought in our wildest imagination that this will be okay. We can salvage that.
I don't think anybody was thinking that far ahead. I think people were thinking we're going to try to evacuate as many people as possible before this becomes even worse.
And it happened they fell fast.
They did. They certainly did. But at that point, nobody was worried about recovery. They were just trying to get as many people out of the buildings as possible. And what I will tell you is
The fire sale for sure.
if you lived anywhere within driving distance, there were very few people that I knew that didn't have to attend the funeral for one reason or another after that.
Yeah. Hey, I'll see you next week.
Yes, we will definitely continue to stop in. I'm still seeing heavy activity in the bathroom, which is a little concerning to me. It looks like the bait is working a little bit in the kitchen.
I'm going crazy with the bleaching and shit too.
And but we will continue to stop in here until you are happy with the issue.
I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your memories.
Anytime.
I'm sure it's not one you want to share often.
No, and I will tell you, September 11th is definitely a day I don't put on the TV because no matter where you go, there's
Takes
some
you back,
remembering.
yeah.
So that's the day that the TV stays off.
I hear it.
Have a good day.
Yep. You never know. You never know the people that are in your vicinity. It was he does pest control now for us. I didn't expect that. But yeah, they called anyone in. It was a crazy time to be alive. But going back to the situation, it's like, at what point did the people on the plane accept their fate? There's no way that you just thought this was going to be okay and you're going to come home. They started calling their families. They started saying goodbye. They knew that this was the end. A tower is that. It's everything comes crashing down. Your way of life. It's interesting because the tower, the devil comes, and then the tower comes. And that's what this all is, you know what I mean? These shadows are going to fuck up your foundation. They're going to cause you to lose some shit based on your choices, and it's going to create all hell. Everything's going to come crashing down. Typically it's for me, because I've already destroyed all of my outside world. I had to do those all the time. It's the constructs of the mind. This way of thinking, bro, is getting me nowhere. I'm never going to get ahead with this kind of mindset. Depends. This end's pretty ugly. Let's see what happens after the tower. Naturally. You're filled with love. How does that work? Well, it's not necessarily the kind of love that you feel for a person, but I guess it's an admiration is the love we're talking about. when you make it through these things, you're just happy to be alive, bro. You're happy that you're not pleased that you had to do this, but you're happy, or you're respectful for what you've done. You have a newfound sense of love for life after going through some shit like this. You know what I mean? So, like, divorce, right? You don't want to even fucking have to do it. You're already dreading the idea. You know this is going to be hell. And you finally make the decision. You go through it. And the tower is, when it's finally agreed upon. And you sit back, and that's that loss. You're like, fuck, it's over. And it hurts, but at the same time, you're free. That's that feeling. It hurts. The loss hurts, but at the same time, it's done. I'm free. Some people go a little excited on the freedom and don't deal with the loss, and then, after the excitement of the freedom wears off, they're really hurting from the loss because they didn't process it before they celebrated their freedom. Some of them really just wanted to be free, and it wasn't really a loss anymore. It just kind of depends how they look at it. But when you do these things, like whenever I face my shadows and I have to go through shit and I have to make these really difficult decisions, quitting a job and shit, it's like, fuck. You really still feel pretty bad about it on a Monday, but come Tuesday, you're like, well, at least I'm free now. I can focus on something else. You don't know what to focus on, but at least you can stop worrying about that. That's what that is. In this context, it's just love, a newfound love for yourself, for life, for a person, for whatever. But as you can see, just based on these cards, you got to go through a lot of darkness to get through there, bro. It starts with your shadows, and you're gonna lose something. The cost of freedom is never free. You're gonna have to sacrifice, and then you're gonna be stuck there. You know what I mean? The stalemate is just it's a mindset of, do you want to fucking surrender? Do you want to accept this, or do you want to just, be caught up in it? The accepting brings the tower, the reality. When it sets in, bro. It's like cheating, I suppose I'm saying that. You know what I mean? Like, you have your suspicions. Right? The devil. You have your suspicions that they're cheating. It's about to fuck up your whole foundation. You're going to lose a lot. You've got to make a choice. If you want to fucking, you know what I mean? If you're going to allow this to happen, or if you're going to fucking crash the tower. And if you do, that's love for yourself, bro. Or just pretend like you didn't see it. Keep telling yourself it's not happening. It could be anything. Just like work. Oh, it's not that bad. These things aren't that bad. It's not that bad. It is. You're literally minimizing your suffering. Trying to make it through with that sentence alone. It's not that bad. Comes after work. It's better to start over than to be stuck and going nowhere. It's better to have their freedom to make some choices than to not have any more choices. You know what I mean? To have all, and that's what freedom is like you have all the options in the world. You can eat whatever you want, you can do whatever you want, you can do whatever, all of this. You're just, right now, you don't have any desire for such things because of what you've been through. You know what I mean? But then, after that, it's like, well, I lost my job. Let's take some time to feel sad about this. Let's take some time to rest. Let's take some time to think. And let's pull out the resume and put our skills down and see what we can do with what's left. And that's really it. You know what I mean? You gotta get to work. You gotta pick your life back up. You gotta start taking the measures piece by piece. That's what that means. You gotta find your way. All princesses are new beginnings. She's talking about, this is actually, we read this, the reverse side of this is a really dysfunctional, hurt person that's really been beat down by their experiences. The opposite of that is somebody that's really taken them all in and chops it up. It's like, it was just a summer job. I learned a lot. It was a great experience. I don't have any hurt feelings about it. I'm ready to move on with, a new opportunity. But the other one is not. You're very hurt about it. You're holding grudges. You're very resentful. You're not letting this go. You're not accepting this at all. Right now, the reverse of this is Nicki Minaj. Whatever the fuck came out of her was a reverse Queen of Cups. That was not loving, supporting, kind. None of that, bro. That was hateful. That was ugly. That was mean-spirited. It was just vengeful. You could say she was a Queen of Swords reversed, which is a cutthroat bitch. Just, hurting people with their words. Sticking, knives in people's backs. All bad things. If you're not full of love, then you're full of hate. And the hate isn't, it's loathsome. It's jealousy, it's anger, it's rage, it's discord, it's disgust. I recognize that. I'm like, ugh. As soon as I say all that, I was like, yeah, that's how I feel about Russ. I get that, for sure. There's always that person in our timeline that really makes us feel that way. But, whatever. I'm just saying, that's not the best energy. They never are. It's going to lead to freaking worry, stress, trying to take on too much. I'm going to take these away. I took my perky energy and turned it nasty with the devil. Turned me into a devil. Not realistically, I'm just tired. It's that time of day. I'm sure it's like 3 o'clock where I start getting really tired. I better take my ass to Walmart. That'll fucking juice me up. Realistically, kind of. I wait to do the shit till this time because otherwise I'll be like, if I don't do it, I'll be like ready to take a nap. Let's find an oracle and move on. It's all in the cards. It said that there was going to be unfortunate events, bad luck, rebirths, fucking the devil, your shadows. Jesus, I'm staying in my room with my Bible. That's what Red said this morning. Hey, you know what? I gotta say something. I don't want to say this in public, but I gotta say it to somebody. They're on my nerves. People take your fucking generosity as a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, what? Alright, well, I told you that Diana asked me on Friday if she could borrow $40 till Monday. My spirit said she wasn't going to pay me back, only give her 20. So I see her all day Monday, she don't say nothing. Today's what? Fucking Tuesday? No, that was yesterday. She didn't say nothing. And she's like, I finally see her in the evening. She's like, I'm going to get you that money by the end of the week. Bitch, it's the first of the month, and I know you got a big fat check. Why do I got to come ask you for my money? That's stupid, bro. So I had to send her a text before I got on here. Like, you're going to have that money today, right? So then I was coming in, and I was watching this movie on my phone, and I had read, it was like something, because I keep my card on the back of my cigarette pack. I have to have a card to swipe in, and I just keep it on my cigarette pack so I never lose it. He's like, I might need to get one of those in a bit from you. Bro, didn't I buy you a pack of cigarettes like a couple days ago? And you're going to come up and ask me for another cigarette? I feel very bothered. In the sense of where it comes out of my mouth, what I want to say is, how come you're bumming cigarettes off the homeless fucking unemployed girl at your job? Is what I want to say to him. You're taking advantage of me, bro. I felt sorry for you 4 days ago and bought you a pack, and I ain't seen nothing come back from that. And you're going to come back to me 4 days later asking me for another one? And that's what I mean. You give a person an inch, and they want to take all fucking week with that shit. I bought you a fucking pack so I didn't have to take from mine. Not for you to turn around and come back and ask to take from mine. Same thing with this girl. Me real hard, bro. It really bothered me what she did. So she asked me for 20 bucks. And I'm not going to ask you what you need it for, because maybe you just need a pack of cigarettes in a bag just like me. She did. But the thing is like, she's like, I was like, well, I need to go up to Chase and get the money out of my bank account. She's like, cool. Well, can you hit the dispensary right next to it for me? And I'm looking at her like, you're asking a lot. She's like, I don't have a babysitter. And she put me in a place, bro. It's like, well, all right. Not only did you ask me to give you money to buy what you needed, but then you asked me to go shopping for it. I feel slighted. I feel a little slighted about some stupid shit like this. I really do. I don't know. He said it to me and I acted like I didn't hear him because I didn't want to say what I really was thinking. And that was just that. And that's why I'm gonna chill and like, nah, bro. Because this is going to come out. What happened to that pack of cigarette I bought you a couple days ago? What happened to your paycheck, bro? Where's your paycheck? How come you're bumming off of homeless people? That's disrespectful as fuck, right? It is. It's the delivery, and that's why I'm like, I need to shut up. I need to shut up. And that goes back to Diana. If you knew you couldn't pay me till the 1st, then why didn't you tell me, can you borrow money till the 1st? My Holy Spirit already had your fucking number and told me not to give you the whole amount. Why? Because for some reason, she's not going to be able to pay back 40 on the 1st. I don't know what she does. I don't want to know. I want you to leave me alone. I was just being nice. I felt sorry for some motherfuckers. But really, nobody feels sorry for me if I didn't have it on the end of the month. And what's the difference, bro? That's what I mean. We got a whole dude with a paycheck that can't meet his needs. And then we got a girl, and that's what I said to her. I said, you get the same amount of money as me. You have 2 kids. We both get the same welfare check, bro. We both get the same amount for the rest of the month. Who's doing what differently here? Now, granted, my kids don't have diapers and shit like that. But still, they want fucking fast food and shit and fucking weird shit. And my daughter wants to go to the fucking thrift store and buy shit. And my son always wants some fucking internet money and shit. Speaking of which, I told her I was going to give her $5 to pair up the socks today. I was like, it's worth $5. That's one hell of a job. Really? Yeah, I don't like to pair socks up. Anyways, that bothered me. And, you know, sometimes you just gotta, as Queen of Swords, you're gonna have to say something. Please don't make me fucking say something to these stupid-ass fucking people. They should know better. Why I gotta say something? Because if you don't fucking put a boundary on people, they have none. They will just, you know what I mean? Like, if I don't come looking for my money, she ain't never gonna give me my money. If I don't tell him to stop bumming off of me, he's not gonna stop bumming off of me. How are you gonna bum off a bum? Obviously, I'm not. And that's why it is. They always see me with some shit and want to come ask me. But that's the thing. What's the difference? Where's my money come from? I'm not over here with tricks and Johns and fucking playing fucking, you know, internet games to get somebody to slide me some cash app. Who am I dependent on? God. Maybe you need to depend more on God and not on the people around you. And that's that first stage, bro. Self-reliance. Baba Yaga, bro. Anyways, where are we at? Ew, regeneration. As if we didn't know that. We're going through a serious awakening. What does that mean? You're facing unbelievable towers and realities, bro. You're seeing things you never saw before. And if it's happening like this every day, it's a wake-up call, bro. It's not just one and done. They're waking you up. They are literally, that's Gabriel, bro. No higher angel will fuck your life up like that. Where he's just blowing in your face. He's blowing the truth in your face, bro. He's blowing the horn in your face, bro. That's God's messenger, bro. He's showing you. He's the one pushing you straight from God, bro. I promise. He was the same one that woke me up. It was in my ear telling me I had to do the right thing. I'm going to leave this card right here. Because again, I got to run to Walmart before my kid gets home. She always wants some fucking shit. There's no fucking food in the house. You know what she wants? It's not that there's not food. It's that there's not the 2 things she wants. Which is what? She's back to the buffalo fucking wings. But she don't like the sauce. So now I have to buy Frank's hot sauce separately. And she uses a lot. She uses that like he uses ketchup. I don't understand. Anyways, there's not that, and there's not no fucking jalapeno poppers. As long as I keep that shit around, I'll never hear from her. But until I can, nope. I'm gonna hear this shit. She's sitting there getting mad at me. There's nothing to eat. And I asked her last night, what do you want? I want some poppers. I'm not going to Walmart for poppers. We had a big old fight, dude. I was like, that's the whole reason I bought you pizza, bro. It's because I didn't want to go get dinner. And now you're telling me you need a dinner. I was like, there's snacks. Leave me alone. Eat some more pizza. Leave me alone. Oh, God. She's not going to. I need to go to the store and take care of this chica. I'll read this later. It's the same fucking story over and over. You're going through a rebirth. You're going through a regeneration. You're going through a death. Let's just be honest. You're not on the other side like me. You're going through a death. And this is going to transform you. And then you'll be reborn. Where am I at? I'm going through the transformation. I haven't even been reborn. I'm just stuck in a fucking, I'm like a constipated turd just stuck in the ass of life, waiting to be pushed out. Really? Or C-section, somebody cut me out of this. Really? Yeah, it's in the cards, I told you. That was yesterday's cards. You're either in the cocoon or the chrysalis or something. You're in some painful stage of this, which I think for most of you is just the awakening. It hurts, the truth hurts, but it doesn't really hurt until you start walking in it. And then it really is painful to force yourself to walk in this truth. But that's the transformation, is walking in it. Taking action is the transformation, right? And the rebirth is what you are on the other side of these actions. What are you? I don't know. You're going to be a mutant with superpowers when it's all done. You're going to be somebody's ancestor. You'll be like, I was your great-great-grandma. Really? Yeah, what are you doing back here? I don't know, I never leave you. When you get your past life activation, you'll be walking around trying to look up old lovers from 50 lifetimes ago. Don't look, they'll find you. You're sending out a sonar. Everything finds you that's meant to find you. Alright, I'm going to leave it at that. Jesus Christ. What do we get? The devil and towers? And that's basically, that is the definition of Scorpio. Death, transformation, rebirth. That's Pluto all the way, bro. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. Are you working with it or are you working against it? Are you holding on? Are you like literally not trying to be born? You're like trying to hold on to your mother's fucking guts. Like, I'm not coming out. I'm not going to be part of this new world. I'm going to stay in this dark place for all of my life. That doesn't work, bro. They're going to push you out. An enema or something. You're coming out of there. And you're going to be something new. The longer you stay in there, though, your head might shrink or something. You might look a little funny. You might lose oxygen to your head. And that's where it's like, we've got to get the baby out. It can't breathe. That's pretty much you guys trying to hold on to the end. Back to the towers, bro. I don't know who those brave people were, but I remember seeing them. You can't unsee some shit like that, bro. They closed their eyes and they jumped into the new world. They tried to call their families and say goodbye and say they loved them, and they left and they went into the new world. They left our world and went into a new world. The body died, but not the soul. That was one brave soul. Who the hell were those people that said they were going to die flying? It was a choice. It wasn't like, hey, come with me if you want to live. That was not the choice to jump out that window. It wasn't a peer pressure thing. It's like, do you want to live or you want to die? You want to try to die, or do you want to try to live, or you're just going to die? And that's it. It's like, you know, some lived, some people lived. Not really, though. You don't really have your life, even the people that made it out of that building, life was never the same for them. It was never the same for any of us. And that's what these moments are, these pinnacle moments, as the government shuts down. I don't really know what that means to people. I guess if you're dependent on the government and you need the government, you know what I mean? It means a whole lot to you. You would think that it means a lot to me as, you know, being on government aid, but God aids me. It's the truth. It really is the truth. Hey, I'll catch you guys later for another, hopefully, fucking lighter version of this bullshit. That was pretty dark. It always is. We're in dark seasons. I keep trying to pull out the cards and pull something better out of it, but we just keep getting the devil. We got it in the Loki card. We're getting justice, bro. We're getting our shadows. We're getting the dark side of us and of the world. If you're not facing it in yourself, then I'm sure you're seeing it in other people. Ugh. Don't go outside. Protect your energy. Hey, I love you guys. I'm gonna go. Laters, haters.